Throughout my job and my years as an attorney, there's a question that I've been asked a lot. And it's basically, if you could do it over again, would you go to law school? And I've had varying answers throughout the years. Early in my career, and I'm still relatively early in my career, but in the first couple of months, I always said, absolutely, I love doing this. It's great. And then later it was kind of like, maybe not. And today I kind of lean towards that I wouldn't. I think that I've kind of bought out of the idea of college is so important. I think college is really important if you want to go into certain fields. I think higher education is a good thing, but I think there's a bunch of different ways that you can get that higher education. I don't think you necessarily have to go to college in order to receive it. There's a bunch of ways to do that. You can read books, you can ask questions, you can take classes for free. There are all sorts of websites and colleges that offer courses for little cost or free. I know Harvard University has their entire, I think it's their computer science program. They upload like every single lecture to YouTube. You can learn a lot without having to go to college. But one thing that I will always appreciate law school for is the fact that I now understand, because of law school. I didn't know this before, and I'm not entirely sure I would know now. But I now know, because of law school, that things are not always what they seem. And what I mean by that is, just because somebody on the internet says something like, oh, I don't know, these notices on executive websites are Hatch Act violations, doesn't mean it's true, because it's not. First off, let's explain what the Hatch Act is. So the Hatch Act is a law passed in 1939. This law was passed because Congress was concerned that the executive was, and at this time it would have been FDR, was using federal employees to put restrictions on how people could vote and trying to force people to vote certain ways in I think it was the 1938 election. So basically what this law does is it prohibits federal employees from using their official authority or influence to affect elections. So sort of like if the head of the FBI were to send out a memo that said, you must vote for this person or I will fire you. That would be illegal under the Hatch Act. It'd be illegal on a whole bunch of other reasons, but the Hatch Act would make it illegal as well. So this is why this stuff is not illegal. Okay. This person, if you go to Twitter and look up Hatch Act, you will see a whole bunch of people saying this. Another one that's really great about this is there's a TikToker. He's apparently a soldier, but there's a TikToker who does videos in uniform, and he talks about he's anti-Trump and anti-government. And there are people saying that's a Hatch Act violation. It's not. The United States military is exempt from the Hatch Act. So stop spending all your time on the internet and saying, oh, I know what I'm talking about because you read a Vox article or your favorite Democratic influencer was like, oh, this is so evil. This is the Hatch Act violation because they Googled Hatch Act once. So the Office of Special Counsel, OSC, which enforces the Hatch Act, has clarified through various official memos that communications on official government websites like the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, the U.S. Department of Justice, I don't know what the bottom left one, the bottom right one is the White House. Those are official agency websites. The OFSC has said communications reflecting agency policy, even if those communications are politically charged, do not violate the Hatch Act because they are distinct from a individual's speech. So let's dumb this down. Okay, in law school we call it the honey test. Because this politically charged speech is the official opinion of, and I'll use the top right one, for example. The statement on the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development's website is the radical left in Congress shut down the government. HUD will use available resources to help Americans in need. That is a statement from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. It is not a statement from Phil in IT or Steve in the loans office. If it was a statement from Steve in the loans office trying to then convince everyone to vote for Donald Trump or to vote for Nancy Pelosi or whatever, then maybe we have a violation of the Hatch Act. But simply because it is a statement from a government official that points towards political language does not make it a violation of the Hatch Act. And these people really need to start actually reading the laws that they purport to accuse people of breaking. And and here's the worst part about this. We can see in the right hand here his Twitter bio. Investigative reporter covering criminal and congressional investigations in D.C. Hot South enthusiast. Whitest guy I've ever seen that's a hot South enthusiast. This is how terrible the media is now. You've got an investigative reporter here who is incapable and unable to look up the Hatch Act and read it. It's not a long bill. I think I looked it up. I think it's like 10 pages. It's not a lot. And if you want, you could even use your ChatGPT tool to tell you what it says. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that comment. Tell me what you think about this. And as always, have a great day.